Joe Russo, and you are tuning in to the South Florida Tech Podcast. Happy Wednesday to everyone who's watching us online on Facebook and LinkedIn. If you've not seen this before, the South Florida Tech Podcast is a weekly show where we bring you the awesome, innovative people building our South Florida tech community. Each week, we'll introduce you to some of the Sunshine State's top tech leaders, learn more about who they are, what they do, and have some fun conversation along the way. Our podcast is, of course, presented by the Palm Beach Tech Association, a nonprofit dedicated to building South Florida into a tech hub. And I'm your host, Joe Russo, President and CEO, joined by my illustrious co-host, also named Joe. And I would love for her to say hi for herself for a moment.
Hi, guys. I'm Joe. I love the Joe and Joe show. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Wyncode Academy, where we train software developers and product designers. So really always a pleasure to be here.
And awesome for me to just hang out with Joe for a moment too, because she's one of the most terrific people in our South Florida tech community. And also got to give a shout out to our sponsors for the podcast, of course, Wyncode Academy, but in addition to that, Emerge Americas. Each year, global enterprises, disruptive technology, and elite startups are highlighted at Emerge's premier tech event, Connecting the Americas, all right here in South Florida. It's held in Miami Beach and to date has hosted organizations from over 40 countries and featured 250 plus speakers from around the world. We talk about building a tech hub every week when we're on the podcast here. And if there is one event that really kind of moves that forward every time they host it, it's Emerge. So thank you to all the team down there for making a huge impact in everything they do. So with that, I'm really excited to have our guests introduced here. We actually have two people. We have a husband and wife duo team, Matteo and Julie Ferrer, who are joining us today. And they are the co-founders of the leisure clothing brand Versattire, which blends together comfort and professional attire in one versatile dress shirt. They've been in our community for a while. I'm going to tell one or two stories throughout, but Matteo actually has his background in sustainability. He earned a master's degree from the University of Pittsburgh, but he always knew he wanted to be an entrepreneur and to innovate the fashion industry as a very fashionable guy himself. Independent from him, Julie is the founder of the loungewear brand Love Bombshell and has been a well-known fashion blogger and influencer for many years. So a match made in heaven, quite obviously. And they are on a mission to disrupt the apparel industry through innovation and digital customer experiences. They've been featured in The Knot, the Palm Beach Post, Gold Coast Magazine, Jupiter Magazine, American Way, and several other publications. But a big part of their success, and one of the reasons we're talking to them today, is they have now been featured on Discovery Channel's new reality series, I Quit, which follows 6 budding entrepreneurial ventures and their founders as they quit their regular day jobs to pursue their entrepreneurial lifelong dreams. And it's been really neat seeing them film this over the past couple of years, even when I wasn't supposed to talk about it, but I could see it going on. It was really neat. So Matt, Julie, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
For having us, Joe.
Yes, thank you.
So I would love if you guys want to just give a start and give an introduction to who you are and what the company does, and maybe just a quick elevator speech, as it were, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, Julie, take it away.
You take it away.
Okay, all right.
Oh, you guys.
My name is Matteo. I've actually was raised in South Florida, born here, one of the few kind of locals. And like Joe said, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was very little, and studied sustainability and worked with businesses for years, helping them become more environmentally minded in everything that they do. And working at the time for the mayor's office for the city of West Palm Beach, I began just wearing dress shirts everywhere and realizing that I was sweating so much just in the hot, humid South Florida air, and it was showing up on my dress shirts. And I'm going to public meetings, meeting with commissioners, and I'm just looking like a mess. So I told myself there's got to be a better dress shirt. And that's when I pursued Versattire. I pursued making a dress shirt that was the best dress shirt on the market. And here we are now, excitedly on Discovery Channel. And I met Julie along the way, and she's just enhanced the brand.
Do you want to add anything, Julie?
Yeah, so yeah, Matt said that perfectly, and that was sort of the birth of Versattire. I met Matt, midway into his endeavors, and it's just kind of perfect how both of our backgrounds kind of meshed together, and we didn't really even know that until me becoming a co-founder. So that was really special to kind of see both of our talents kind of fit together to make Versattire better. But I have a fashion design degree from the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale. After graduating, started to become a lead jewelry designer for a luxury designer here in Palm Beach. A lot of my designs were in Vogue, Town and Country, Harper's Bazaar. And then, I was working the corporate 9 to 5, dressing up every day, and kind of soon realized that I could run a company myself and design for myself. So that's when I quit my 9 to 5 and just really started self-teaching myself on the digital marketing world, and started my brand as well, Love Bombshell. That's sort of how I got started with mine.
Can you tell us a little bit about Love Bombshell and what that is also?
Yeah, so I started my brand in early March. My vision was to reinvent loungewear. Like I said, I was working corporate 9 to 5, dressing up every day. And I think that feeling of, feeling put together was something that I was lacking working from my couch. So, with my design background and my, creative concept ideas, I was like, there's got to be a more fashionable way to wear loungewear and feel more put together while you're making boss moves from your couch. So that's kind of how Love Bombshell started. And I had about a month to create my collection before Matt and I went to Paris, because my dream was to photograph my collection in Paris. So I had everything together, my website was ready, and then I was about to launch my brand when I heard talks of COVID happening. So I really quickly had to make a really tough business decision and say, we have to make a pivot. And so I really was one of the first businesses in Florida to start making face masks before they were even a thing. I started donating, for free to hospitals and frontline workers in the beginning. And then my friends and family started asking for them. So I added that to my website and ended up partnering with, so many numerous entrepreneur or influencer friends of mine, which really helped grow my business really quickly. And so now I'm sort of pivoting back to the original loungewear concept, and I have a lot of pieces in the works. So yeah.
That's awesome. Can't wait to see it.
I just got to throw out there, I've known Matteo for several years now. I was really lucky to also be at their wedding, which was really special, which is actually in the documentary series we'll talk about later. But, more special.
Where's Waldo? Spot Joe.
What's that?
It's going to be like, where's Waldo? Spot Joe.
Oh, yeah. No, seriously, I did that. Yeah. It was also special for me is Matteo, myself, and several other people, basically thousands, go to Subculture Coffee every day. One day I'm at Subculture and I see Matteo and I'm like, hey, what's going on? How are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm meeting somebody here who's also doing fashion. And, fashion in the 21st century is all online. So you got to be really good at social media. You got to be really good at being an influencer. And that's what Julie is very good at. And the team that they are was great. But these two met and I'm like, wow, they're really smiling at each other a lot. And ever since then, I'm like, you know what, that must work out really well, because they just seem like immediately happy as soon as they met each other. So I can only imagine that's what working together is like, and celebrating in those successes. But with that, I would love to just kind of dive in for a minute and say, like, you guys are both entrepreneurs in your own right, and then you're also blending that together in this documentary now and in your own ventures. What is that like when you have two very entrepreneurial people in this teamwork setting that is also a relationship setting and still works so well?
I'll hit that first. I think it's difficult on one end because you have to balance work and marriage, and you need to make time for both. And then secondly, I would say it's always a conversation on if you have two different brands, which one takes priority from a task to do, right? you can have all these immediate tasks for each one of these, and those goals have to somewhat mirror each other so that you can make progress on both, and that one doesn't kind of command over another. But I think we've done that really well. We've learned along the way how to really take each other's skills and experiences to help each other. And yeah, it's been a journey, and hopefully that journey is captured on the show. That's, one of the things they wanted to show is us kind of starting it together as well and learning along the way.
Yeah, I think you nailed that. I definitely agree. In the beginning, midway, it did start off as Matt's brand and me doing my own thing, coming into this relationship. I knew that. And so I think, throughout this year, it took a lot of conversations and just kind of figuring out what our strengths are to then come up with the idea of, Julie, you need to be more a part of Versattire. And so we just kind of it was a process. It wasn't, like a beautiful, merge of companies right from the bat. It definitely had to take a lot of conversations and, stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely do say that now is better than ever. We've definitely mastered how to work both brands at the same time and kind of have our marriage as well. So
that's awesome. I also work with my husband, and I totally relate to it's a process and a journey. And as the company grows, we've also learned new things and had to adjust, and new challenges bring, new roles, changing roles. So that's awesome. It's great to hear that, and always great to see couples who are founders and doing so well. So you guys both, I'm similar to Julie. I pivoted from corporate to being entrepreneur. My husband was a little bit more like you, Matteo, always knew he wanted to be an entrepreneur and dove right in. So can you guys talk a little bit about that mentality? How, there's so many people out there who want to be an entrepreneur. Can you guys talk a little bit about the journey and maybe the thought process? How did you know, when did you officially give yourself the title of entrepreneur, and how did you know that was the moment? What led you there?
Yeah, I think a lot of people have it twisted on what defines an entrepreneur because it's so trendy right now. And at the moment when I first started, I didn't consider, and this is personal opinion here, I didn't consider myself an entrepreneur until I had a product that was ready to be shipped. And there was a lot of ideation, a lot of consulting concepts, prototyping, everything that went into actually having a product that was ready to be shipped. And at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, I can start selling this. And as soon as I started selling it and people started buying it and giving me fantastic feedback that this dress shirt's amazing, I'm like, all right, I'm an entrepreneur. Now, I think the next distinction is what makes an entrepreneur successful versus an entrepreneur who's not successful. And I think it's just a matter of continuing to learn and adapt. So yeah, I think an entrepreneur for me is when you have a product that is different, ready, and solves an issue. And then I think the second tier of it is being able to build a business out of it.
Awesome.
So I want to dive into the documentary series for a second. Because for those that don't know, I Quit. It's on the Discovery Channel. It's been airing on Wednesday nights, but you can go on the Discovery Go app and watch it anytime. It's following 6 companies, and not every episode has Matteo and Julie in it as much as the others, but it's still a great series overall to watch. You got selected to be in this show.
Yeah.
And, there's a whole journey into that. Could you walk us through a little bit of the journey in getting selected for the show and then being on it? And then I want to ask a follow-up question after kind of hearing how you got there to begin with.
Yeah, no. So the show itself wasn't, I like to say, the harder you work at an idea, at your passion, at your dream, the bigger breaks you get along the way. And this was certainly a break that wasn't expected to be as big as what we thought. It was just an email.
For a big break team, it was like a breakthrough. We were like, yes.
So it was just an email, and we didn't know it was going to be on Discovery Channel. We didn't know how big it would be, but it said, if you have an interesting product, an innovative product, go ahead and submit it. And I submitted it, and literally the next day they got back to me because they loved the dress shirt idea so much. And I'm going to say 8 months later, we finally got chosen. And I'm assuming, because I don't have a final number, but I'm assuming it was amongst thousands of businesses. Yeah. And starting in 2019, we started filming 2 weeks before our marriage. And the show captures a full year's worth of trials and errors of trying to build a business, stresses and everything along the way. And like Joe said, it's actually moved to Saturdays at 10 p.m., but you can watch it at any time on the Discovery Go app. And we're going on episode 6. So 3 episodes left of the series, and we're excited.
That's awesome. Has it helped you guys with the company, like in terms of, awareness, customer base, reach?
Yeah, it certainly has. We've certainly seen that. It's a show that's nationally televised, actually even in Canada too. And I know that because we're shipping to Canada right now. And it's been great for exposure. And we've had a couple of VCs and angel investors look at us prior to the show and really say, hey, we want to kind of follow back with you up when the show is aired. So I actually have those conversations coming up with those VCs and hoping to have our first kind of institutional backer. And that's always been the goal, is to be able to seed this with a big backer so that we can grow exponentially much quicker.
And I would assume most people who see entrepreneurship on television go to Shark Tank immediately, and that's their experience.
Yeah,
right?
I was totally thinking that. I was like, is Shark Tank gonna happen next?
and that's like it's such like a small thing, and it's so like dressed up, right?
Yeah, we saw the opportunity better than Shark Tank, because what Shark Tank, you may have 5 to 6 minutes of airtime, and here we are, episode 6. I think we've had hours of airtime so far, and it's, in that regard, it's better. And other than that, though, we did, before we were chosen, we did consider Shark Tank. Let's not play games, but we actually signed. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but we couldn't. So we stuck with filming, and here we are.
And I mean, one of the cool things about the show, it actually shows the story. It shows like who you guys are. The cat makes an appearance, I think, at one point too. And it's like, telling the story from like this is like beyond the pitch, and diving into kind of your lives around it. And I would just assume, like, having the cameras back and forth in your life, like that was just an interesting experience at all. But was it stressful? Was it a little uncomfortable? Did you like it? Was it fun?
I'll let Julie answer that.
Yeah, I'll answer that. It was definitely a little awkward. There was a few moments where, they sent self-shot footage cameras to us. So we had to do a lot of self-footage, talking to the camera, telling them updates on our day. There was times where we went 12-hour days filming with the crew with not a lot of food. So this girl with no food, I'm hangry. So, and a lot of the, footage, I don't know, I might come across as blah because I was probably really hungry. But yeah, but it was so fun. I think we just got to experience something so special that not a lot of people get to experience, which is just the fact of being on Discovery Channel and being recorded. And there was moments in Paris where we had the camera crew following us around, and we felt like celebrities. People were looking at us and stuff, what's going on? And it was just a really fun, cool experience, So we're happy that we got to be on that.
That sounds awesome. I'm sure it comes with as awkward moments as there can be. It sounds like it was pretty fun for you guys. And I would imagine too, for me, I always think when we have the most stressful moments, I'm like, man, I'm so happy that my spouse is also my most trusted business partner, and also someone who we can go through this together. So for those moments, it's it's pretty special that you guys got to experience it together and are doing it together. What about future plans for growth? So you talked to Matteo a little bit, are you guys raising capital right now? What's your guys' vision for the future with the company? How big are you guys dreaming right now?
Yeah, I think to answer that succinctly, we are actively looking for we've raised money in the past. We had a successful Kickstarter. We've won pitch competitions. That's really what seeded us. So now it's really that big seed money. We have proof of concept. We have all these. We have a show. We have revenue numbers. All these things hit to the right investor. We want a partner to come on board, and that's what we're looking at as a next step, and hopefully that'll get us to a worldwide and more of a national brand.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that, we wanted to kind of add some rebranding in there. just because we have some really unique points to Versattire that a lot of companies don't have. So we're like 100% made in the USA. The manufacturing is 100% wind and solar powered. So it's bringing in Matt's sustainable background, with really a cool talking point, which we haven't really marketed yet. So we really want to like bring in those really key aspects that make us different and just kind of like hone in on that. Do that, a lot with our branding and marketing as well. And yeah, I mean, we've talked about expanding the collection in the future, partnering with, hopefully bigger influencers to kind of, get us out there quicker. So we have a lot of things in the works as well. And then with my brand as well, same exact thing.
Cool.
One of the things I've noticed, and Matteo, I think we were at, I forget what the pitch competition was at the West Palm Lake Pavilion here years ago, but we talked about a big part of your shirt was also the fact that it was going to be made in America, and going through the manufacturing process of that, it sometimes in building that pipeline was tedious. But like, how has that helped you, and how has that also kind of helped you as an entrepreneur kind of going through that process?
I mean, so there's so many people that would just say, just get it from overseas. And I think that takes away the specialness of learning everything about logistics, supply chain manufacturing, and knowing every in and out of how to actually make a dress shirt. So I would say because of that, I'm a master at actually knowing how to take an idea of an apparel brand and making it into what it is now, from every concept, from every tiny detail of actually how to manufacture it. Now, can I do things better? Of course, but it's definitely made me a more well-rounded manager of an apparel brand.
Cool. Very cool. So just really quickly, we have a few rapid fire questions for you both. So I'll start with Julie. What is the current book on your nightstand?
Ooh, good question. So I have two, but my favorite right now is Secrets of Six-Figure Women.
Oh, yeah, girl.
By Barbara Stanny. That book has blown my mind. I mean, if you grew up in a humble beginning like Matt and I both have, I was taught, like save your money, hold on to your, just living in a life of like, there's not enough. And so having to unlearn things that you've grown up thinking your whole life is just so special to like kind of get inside the minds of these six-figure women and how they think and how they go about life and how they look at rich people. Like it's a really great eye-opener, and it trains you basically to just be a better version of yourself financially. So it's just so great. I highly recommend it.
That's awesome. Matteo, what about you? What's on your nightstand right now?
Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by Harv Eker. Just kind of expanding psychological biases that somebody may have, and really opening you up so that you can understand more clearly what it takes to manage money, no matter where you're at on the money threshold.
Awesome. And what is the time of day that you guys are most productive? Not together, but separately.
Yeah. For me, it's the morning. I mean, case in point, I woke up at 7 a.m., shipped a couple orders, put a crock pot thing together for dinner. And I mean, that was all before 8.
I would say my most productive is like midday to night. I'm just like very active. My brain is super active at nighttime. I'm on my phone at like 1 a.m. sometimes, just like researching and stuff like that. So it's, those are my times.
What time do you guys go to bed?
So
we get together probably like 10:30.
Yeah.
10:30, time you guys wake up? I know you just said 7. Is that the norm?
I get up around like 8:30. I need a solid 9 hours of sleep.
I try to shut it down at 9 p.m. So from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. I'm usually just trying to work.
Yeah.
And then we've also definitely had to try to manage our breaks, because we're going through some things where we're like, we're working all the time, but like we need time for us. We need time to like relax and like watch a show or something. So we've adapted this new thing where we stop at 9 p.m. and just kind of chill the rest of the night and go to bed. So
that's awesome. More power to you guys to keep that up. What's your guys' favorite podcast?
Well, aside from this one, I like Future Commerce by another local, Philip Jackson.
Oh yeah, he's the man.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Thinking Like a Boss by Kate Croco, and then just Joe Rogan. He's not everything, but a lot of things on his podcast are really interesting.
I did not see that one coming.
No.
Awesome. And is there a motto or a philosophy or a quote or kind of a ethos that you guys live by? And if so, what is that?
So years ago, I adopted, just trying to maximize productivity. I adopted a little slogan called "Every Second Matters," and I have it on my background on my computer. And that's just whenever I'm on my desktop, I see that, and I'm like, okay, I got to utilize this time better.
Love it.
Mine is, I heard it actually at a women's conference that I attended. Someone else said it and I really loved it. And I just totally agree with it. It's, if you wait for the right time, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. And I just truly believe that, because you could psych yourself out. You could doubt yourself so much that you never start what you're passionate about. And then you'll just be unhappy for the rest of your life. So it's like, get to it. Don't think about it too much. Just start. So
Every second matters.
Yeah.
True. Very true. You guys are very aligned. Different quotes, but very aligned.
There is like nothing about these two that is that's like everything about them. It's like, oh, it totally makes sense that they're entrepreneurs together. It totally makes sense that they're married. This is like a power couple for sure. But we are almost at time, so I do want to help wrap it up. But if those that are listening in or watching, you can go to myversattire.com. That's spelled Berssattire. I even almost messed it up there, but of course, Matteo and Julie, you can find them again on I Quit, the Discovery Channel documentary. If you're interested more about Palm Beach Tech and what we do, you can go online to southfloridatech.com. You can go get involved. You can sign up for a membership. And we, of course, like to welcome our producing sponsors, Media Ops. They are the premier global media platform for technical communities with brands like DevOps.com, Security Boulevard, and Container Journal. So thank you to Alan and Brian for helping produce our podcast. And thank you, of course, again to our guest today. And best of luck with the company and the startup. Keep up the good work. Love seeing all the good things that you guys do.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Joe and Joe.
yes.
Thank you guys. All the best.
See you guys.
Thanks so much. Bye.